YouTube, what's going on? If you are new here, my name is Roger. I own a company called QVO Tactical where we make holsters and gear and also film content for this channel. Today we have our initial review of the new Aimpoint Acro handgun red dot sight. Alright guys, so before we dive into it, I always like to give full disclosure. I did purchase these Aimpoint Acros myself, however, I purchased them through an industry program, so I did receive about a 20% discount. You can typically find these online for around $600. Alright, so real quick, let's go over some of the specs. The Aimpoint Acro P1 is a handgun red dot sight from Aimpoint. It has a 3.5 MOA dot. It takes CR1225 batteries. It's estimated to have about a battery life of 1.5 years if used on setting 6. If you use it in night vision mode, it says it can last up to 8 years. Unlike many other handgun optics out there on the market, the Aimpoint Acro is completely enclosed. The battery can be changed out without having to remove the optic from the handgun, and it is also submersible up to 82 feet. Now for our initial review, we used 3 different host guns. The first being the CZ P10F, the full size. Aimpoint does make their own plates for a variety of handguns that come optics ready, such as the Glock MOS, the CZ P10 OR lineup, in addition to many others. You'll definitely want to check out the Aimpoint website for the variety of mounts that they do have. They are well machined, they are clean and flush looking with the gun that they go to. The second host gun we used was a Gen 5 Glock 34 MOS. And the last gun we actually put on an AR-15, an 8.5 inch, using the Reptilia mount. Reptilia makes an awesome mount for the Aimpoint Acro if you decide you want to put it on a rifle. And one other cool thing about Reptilia is that they are right here in Las Vegas. Well, they're in Henderson, but they're still a local business. They were nice enough to send us out the mount for free, so we really appreciate that, guys. Thank you, it helped out a lot. Alright, so let's jump into this thing. How is shooting with the Aimpoint Acro? Well, Gabe, Daniel, and I went out to the range for a quick session after working in the shop one day to knock out this B-roll part of the video, and I dug it. I liked it. After a few practice reps, my draw started becoming in alignment where I immediately picked up the dot and was able to use it. I did like the field of view on the CZ P10F, and that is because I was not running suppressor height sights. You guys will see in this video that if you are running suppressor height sights, it does take up a lot of the field of view. Fortunately, because we were shooting on the Glock 34 with the flux brace attached, we were able to get the optic close to the face, which opened up the field of view. But I feel like running suppressor height sights in conjunction with the optic might make it a little more difficult because it does take up a lot of that window. Now I typically like to run the RMR 09, which has a 1 MOA dot. The Acro comes in with a 3.5 MOA dot, but I honestly barely noticed a difference. I was still able to hit my target accurately. As you can see here, using the Sit-Tac Steel hostage target with the head flipper, I was able to just plink away at it and knock it back and forth with no problems whatsoever. We're at a distance about 15 yards and there was no issues. Now I know for those who haven't actually got to play with the Acro in person, it does look big, especially from looking at just pictures on the internet. And I will say this, when I first got it in my hands, it did look and feel a lot larger than the other red dots currently on the market for handguns. But when I sat down with it in shop and actually measured it with my calipers, turns out it's not that much bigger of a footprint. Now the widest point on the Acro comes in at 1.19 inches. On the Delta Point Pro it comes in at 1.31 inches, and on the RMR it comes in at 1.21 inches. Now as far as length goes, the Aimpoint Acro comes in at 1.86 inches in length, the Delta Point Pro comes in at 1.83 inches in length, and the RMR comes in at 1.78 inches in length. So as you can see, the footprint isn't that much bigger. As far as weight goes, honestly guys, I didn't even notice. It felt the same as every other red dot that I run on handguns. I didn't look up the exact weights, but if you're curious about that, definitely hit up the website. I think for a lot of people, they see the fully enclosed unit and don't realize that it's still the same footprint as the RMR. I feel like due to the aesthetic of the Aimpoint Acro, it makes people think that it looks a lot larger, but as you can see from the numbers, it really isn't. So could I see myself using this optic? For concealed carry, yeah, we actually ran the P10F in one of our more discreet holsters. As you can see here, there was no printing issues whatsoever. The draw was natural and smooth. I would probably run it on a more compact gun, like maybe the P10C or the P10S, but it's definitely doable. So you might ask, does having a fully enclosed emitter really help out with the optic? For me, I think in duty use, it definitely would. I remember one time while using one of my Safariland holsters, it wasn't the new RDS with the protective hood, it was prior to that. I was out on the range. I like to chew sunflower seeds while I'm out on the range, and one of the seeds that I'd spit actually went down in my RMR and I couldn't get it out. I replicated it here on the range for you guys to see what I'm talking about, but when this happened, I actually had to unload and clear my gun and then go and try to pry it out with my fingernail and a flathead screwdriver to get it out of there. It was just wedged in there. Now, it's highly unlikely that that would happen in the field, but it did happen to me while on the range, so that got me thinking. With the Aimpoint Acro being a fully enclosed unit, it doesn't really have a catch point like the RMR Delta Point Pro, so it's going to be a lot harder to get any type of debris stuck on the glass and prohibiting you from seeing through it. Now, while it's designed specifically for handguns, I will say that mounting it on a AR-15 platform was pretty awesome. We all just had a blast shooting through the optic on our 8.5-inch AR. And as you can see in here in the video, the optic ran smoothly. It was super clear to see through. It's everything you'd expect from the Aimpoint brand. So another question I know you guys might be asking, would I choose to run it over the RMR or the Delta Point Pro? It depends. If I was running a duty gun again in an outside the waistband holster in a patrol setting, yeah, I'd probably go with the Acro because of the fully closed emitter. Your gun's more exposed, especially in like a patrol setting, to the elements, to people, to a lot of things that could hinder your field of view. So to me, that would be the best bet if I was in a patrol setting. Now, as far as carrying concealed, my shirt, my garments, my clothing are typically protecting and covering my RMR from the elements. Currently right now, I run the P10S with the new Trijicon RMR HRS, the anodized bronze version. I'm really digging that sight. I like it. I've always liked the RMR, so that's what I'm running. It's been raining a whole lot in the last few weeks here in Vegas, and that got me thinking if I was in a patrol setting, the water, the elements hitting that glass or the emitter would definitely hinder my field of view. So yeah, if I was back in a patrol setting, I would definitely choose to carry the Acro over the other current handgun red dots on the market. Real quick, I'll address a few questions I know I'm gonna get down below in the comments. The holster that I used in this video is a Safariland RDS ALS holster for a Glock 34 with the Surefire X300. It does fit my CZ P10F, the full-size version, with the Surefire X300. However, it does not lock onto the ALS. It does hold pretty snug, and I've been using it on the range with no issues, but I do get a lot of questions about it, so I figured I'd let you know about it there. So for you guys out there looking for holsters to use out on the range, that's what I've been using. If you're looking to get it wrapped in black multicam, you can check out RDR Gear. That's RDR Gear on Instagram. They're the ones that wrapped it for me. And again, if you're looking to mount this on any type of AR platform or rifle platform, the mount was provided to us by Reptilia here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Definitely check them out on Instagram as well. I definitely recommend you guys check out some other YouTube videos on the optic. There are some guys out there that have done some torture testing with it, and the optic has held up. In addition to that, Aimpoint on their website states that they have ran over 20,000 rounds with the optic mounted using 40 Smith & Wesson, so that's pretty awesome. So yeah guys, that's our initial review on the Acro P1 from Aimpoint. It definitely lives up to the Aimpoint name. I think for me, the only thing that I would say would be a con for me would be the aesthetic. This to me is definitely equipment that I would have to go completely function over aesthetic. And I know you guys out there saying as long as it works, it works. Yeah, I get it, I'm on board with it. However, you do want your stuff to look cool as well. So it was the same for me when I first got into Glocks. I thought they were ugly, and now I have so many of them. So I'm sure it'll grow on me just like Glocks did. As always guys, thanks for checking out the video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up down below. Consider subscribing if you are new here, and I'll see you in the next one.